No, no. Oh, not a, not a problem. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
live. Yes. Hi, everyone. Today we have a special guest, actually. We're going to learn from her experience and work. We have Jax NiCarthaigh.
Beautiful.
Yes. No, let me close it here because it's going to go. Yes. And your chapter is very important because you mentioned A for agency, reclaiming human agency in an AI world. And you start actually with something I enjoy very much, and I'm sure many of us enjoy dancing with the system. So first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself to everyone so they can know your experience, your background, and the chapter we're going to discuss together.
Yeah, excellent, Farida. It's really great to have this conversation, and I'm so excited. And yeah, it's wonderful to be here. I am in Australia. I'm living in Canberra, Australia, and I was just showing you Farida before, but I'm just looking out on a very foggy day across a little church. I am a student of cybernetics. So,
Okay.
yeah, at the Australian National University. Yeah, so cybernetics is an unusual word in some ways and means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For me, I'm really interested in the concept of working with with a very ancient idea of steering, basically, actually, and how we work with the elements and nature and ourselves and humans as a system within our world. So everything I do, I try to connect with the humans, with land, country, environment.
Mm-hmm. Something actually we always mess because we don't live in isolation, and I think after COVID we should all learn to include everyone, to include everything and the surrounding, because one cycle fall, the repercussion of it's heavy on all of us. It's not just in one area and one thing. Yes, this is why I believe your chapter you touch a very important topic about the planet, about the environment, about tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, very much. It's very close to. It's really important for all of us, and it's easy for us to sort of get into our own little groove and just go, "This is the bit I need to worry about." But actually, if it's all you see it all as connected, it can be less frightening actually, because you're just part of something that's unfolding. Yeah.
The last 10 years actually with the start of the social media, we started creating the hive. Like bees structure, and everyone is going to be like included. And if you are into this bubble or in this bubble, and this hive mentality make us lose connection with, overall environment and all the damage of the rest of us. And I think this is what you address most in to consider from your chapter. So my first question with you again is going to be dancing with the system. It's a beautiful metaphor and actually totally illustrative. You use this metaphor to trying to control or figure it out. So why, if you could explain it and why you choose this metaphor for your chapter to start with?
Yeah, dancing. When we are often talking about AI people who are watching or listening to this, we might sort of instantly have a metaphor in our minds about a robot. It's very mechanical, and we think about AI as very very fixed in some ways, and kind of, but also mystical and
like a person or a being.
Yeah, and it's when we have a relation. If we think about AI not necessarily as, well, we are the soft part, it's the hard part. If we sort of move away from that binary idea, actually what we do is move into relationship with AI. And it's really important when we think about that for agency. If we're dancing, if you and I have a dance together, I'm not trying to force you to do things and you're not trying to force me to do things. We enter into a relationship with each other, or, with many people in a disco or something, where we are moving.
It's like we are all in kinetic movement. Actually, even the data is in a constant kinetic movement, and if anything stayed idle, is dead. So, So
Yeah, that's right.
yes,
Yes.
I love the metaphor because it's highly illustrative and descriptive because everything is in motion in a way or another. And dancing, it
Yeah.
encompasses harmony.
Uh-huh.
And this
Uh-huh.
is why I loved it because it
Ah,
has harmony in it. It's like how to use it, how to weave it, is to receive it and accept, to be malleable with it, not to be rigid.
yes. Yeah. And it's two-way
It's
because
two ways, exactly.
you're moving and you're affecting everything else that's moving around you, including AI. We go into a relationship with it, which is why that idea of agency is so important, because
Yes.
it stops us from thinking about what it's doing to us and what we are doing to it. It's more like, how do we move in with it,
To
and
entwine with it.
yeah. Mm.
100%. You mentioned A for agency, and the fact that we when we were children, they teach us alphabet in terms of a song, and it's A for
Mhm.
it's always A for apple. Now we teach everyone A is for agency. You use the planet framework. The planet framework is actually started with people, and the L is actually
Language.
language, and the
Yep.
need, and then
Hmm.
actually, yeah, a need and environment and technique.
Yeah.
But now you
Yeah.
mentioned the A is going to be A for agency, so
Hmm. Hmm.
it changes actually to audience.
It
So
was audience.
yes,
Mm.
your planet framework originally used audience for the letter A. What specific realization caused you to shift from agency to the audience, and why planet framework described as a living complex than a fixed set of instruction? If you could explain what is the planet framework
Mhm.
and why you
Yeah.
change agency to audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the planet framework, your planet language, agency, need,
Need
environment,
environment.
and technique. So that is a way of thinking about our relationship with AI that includes ourselves as humans. It includes the environment and includes us considering what our needs are. Um, when I first landed on it, it had audience, as you say, and audience was really from my communication background and about who I might be communicating to. And I was thinking about AI and ChatGPT at the time in 2023 more as a communication tool. And of course, I was learning and experimenting, and very quickly it became clear to me that it's more than just a communication tool. What we've got is something which it became important for me to understand my role as a human interacting with the technology and also with the system. So agency for me became really important, and I tested it out with people, and it seemed to resonate more than this idea of communication. Who am I trying to produce something for? It actually became, how am I wanting to be in relationship with this technology? And so agency, when I had the podcast interviews and was exploring the planet framework with a range of people, including Rebecca Mbayar and Karen Smiley and Jerry
Yes.
Mikowski and Pete Kaminsky, they all went agency. Agency seems to be the thing that's resonating with us out of this term. So it really struck me that actually wasn't just something that I was thinking. It was actually something that other people were was resonating with others. So
It is.
agency.
It's like,
Mm.
let me ask you, because do you see AI as Jax? You will see it as a tool or as a being, is like, or just like, we all had imaginary friend, or some of us have an imaginary friend or a second voice in our head. How AI, you see it, because it's not either or,
Mm.
and there is a debate about what is AI. To me, it's
Yeah.
just a tool. I don't
Uh-huh.
get it out of this container or this context. What is it to you?
Mm.
To
Oh,
define
what
it
a
to
great.
just yes.
It really that's such a great question, and because I I sort of I actually
It's
have
both of the three things.
when I say relationship, I don't have a computer. I haven't gone and married my computer or whatever it is, that people do. I'm not doing that. But I do have. I do see it more as a system. I see it as a tool at a very basic level. I see it as a system in the same way that we might see a car or a bus or a train as part of a transport system. I see the whole transport system, not just the car or the bus or the train. So I see it as a tool, as a system, but I also see it as something that I am in a working relationship with every day, because I use AI as a thinking partner, as a sounding board, and I'm often in constant dialogue with that. I still recognize it as a piece of technology, but I see it as a dialogic thought
Yeah.
partner. Yeah.
Because the problem is like there is a debate to be either or, and that's wrong, because like for my generation or our generation is like we can discern between the difference
Yeah.
because we have seen the technology evolving, so we understand its limitation,
Yeah.
its context. We can use it in its the right appropriate way. But the new generation coming, and we start normalizing it's your friend, it's your therapist. It is not. So treat it
No.
as a being, and this is why I always ask, let's teach at least how to make the red line in
Yes.
because there is no one definition. The debate is going on. We have the philosophical definition, the technical definition, and the
Yeah.
optimist, the pessimist. But we have to keep it open. It's undefined, but it's at the
Yeah.
basic level. It's still a tool, and it has no soul. So it's like
Yeah.
you cannot take it. You cannot depend on it out of certain range. So from
Yeah.
prior task, outside of task base, I don't recommend anyone to take it as even as a companion or a thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
You've got to know where its limitations are, and it
exactly.
has limitations. We have there are limitations. It's a really good point, Farida. It can be and it can be all of those things.
Yes,
It can be, which is why we need our agency, so that we actually are using and discernment. I'm so glad that's my word for the year is discernment. So it's been
yes,
hearing you say that.
broad red
When
lines, because
yeah,
it's so blurry right now, and the marketing trying to put it as the magical
yeah,
one that this is all what you need, and it's
mm-hmm,
not. It only
no,
fit in certain places. In microscopic layers, it will work very good. If you scale it, it's gonna go bust.
yeah,
And it needs is like not a little bit of awareness on what is it, because it's like we turn to extra dependency is gonna take people away and off
mm,
the road, and it's
yeah,
going to create
yeah,
damage actually, especially with young generation. So it's like when I ask people, it's like define it. I'm not asking them to define it. What is it to you? Because it's individualistic right now. How do you use it?
mm,
There is no standard. We cannot say it is this or that.
mm,
And it's true. And actually, you
mm,
mentioned is like how to use it in a way in dancing to move it in certain motions. This is important as a companion, which is good because it can be technical companion, or I'm not
mm,
going to say spiritual companion, but it's like assisting in whatever
mm, mm,
your movement is. You mentioned it's like, okay, my second question, you mentioned the generation 200, 2200, like 2200.
mm, mm,
Use this gen as a long horizon compass. Help us imagining the needs of people 175 years from now. Changing the question should we be asking? Why the long term is as important as the short term? So explain the
yeah,
Gen 22 and
yeah,
question.
yeah. Gen 2200 Gen 2200 has been my compass for about 5 or 6 years. It's a bit linear, like 175 years is a very linear kind of amount. But
Yes.
what it helped me do was to stretch out how my thinking horizon, so that I was able to um, kind of, in some ways, this just thinking about the pandemic that was on at the time, was trying to imagine what was going to be more important, because it was very noisy at the time. So to start thinking in long-term ways, you start thinking, well, what actually really matters in the long term? And I don't live in the future. I live very much in the now. But thinking about that long term helps me make, I believe, helps me make the choices that I want, have more agency right now, right today, because it also not all of a sudden, because I find that it helps me to understand what's important. And if I think about 175 years' time, I won't be here. It's really my nieces and nephews and their children's children who will be affected. So that generation won't even know my name. But if I start thinking about what I would like them to experience, or what I like them to think that's important, then I can help sort of work towards that now. And so sometimes it's as simple as if I think about what might be important, maybe it's that I'm healthy now. maybe that itself had some fun today. Like it's very easy in some ways. But when I think about things like AI, in 175 years' time, we won't be thinking about, which model won. We won't be like, oh, was it Claude? Was it ChatGPT? Was it Gemini? We won't, that will be gone.
They'll be obsolete, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe, and so who knows? We don't know. I'm not interested in being a futurist so much. I'm not trying to fortune tell, but I am trying to think what would be important, or what would I like to be important. I would like to think that in 175 years' time, that we have some faith restored, perhaps in human capability, that we have connected more with our Earth, our tiny little blue marble floating in the middle of space. And that we have prevailed, that we are still here, that we have a caring society that looks after ourselves and the planet. That sounds very idealistic, but you bring it right into the now. What does that mean for now? What does that mean for what I do today? And that's where the thinking around agency and thinking, taking AI seriously in our society comes.
So it's like. Actually, in economics, we say consider the butterfly effect in decision making, because the butterfly effect, because the time, it can be now or tomorrow or maybe in 100 years, but it's like we need to consider it in decision making, the repercussion of it. So your framework is exactly it's more gentle or softer way. It's like with the human touch in it. But for us, it's going to be in decision making. We need to consider, because the work is, I'm not going to say it's immortal, but certain work, like we can see it in art, they stay and they outlive the writer and their author, simply because it was so good and we pass it. And civilization is passed actually from knowledge we share to the next generation to pass it on. So the civilization evolution, or to make it better, they lived on the ancestors' work, and we move on by passing it over, not to keep it or make it obsolete.
And we had a discussion just before about our names, and your name Farida, and in Arabic meaning unique.
It's
unique, and it's an ancient name. So that's been passed on through all that time. And here's this lovely, beautiful concept of this uniqueness that you have that's coming through a name through the centuries. And
to stay,
so these are like the legacies, our wisdom, and our the things that humans in your case, with your beautiful name, they've decided along the way. This is important to keep. This name is important to keep. So it's being carried all the way through there. Now we get to make those kind of choices ourselves. What's important for us today to keep? What's important for us to take care of, or to steward, or to hand forward? And with AI in the world, and it's for most of us. For me, I'm not a technical person. For me, AI is still I've been very deeply in AI for the last few years, exploring and working out what it can offer for me and for others. But it is still a fairly new thing. We still need that discernment to be looking at it and thinking, well, what is of this? What is of this, our relationship with it, that we want to actually cherish, look after, and pass forward? So way up ahead, when we get to 175 years, someone goes, isn't it fantastic that those humans back there thought that it was important that we had this particular capability and we have it now? I don't know what that is, but I think it's a lovely experiment trying to find that.
So it's like, if I get from your point you just demonstrated right now, that we can use AI as a magnifying glass to see on the long term, and to study it for, or to protect, or to calculate, and to consider it for now. Because AI is an amplifying tool. It can amplify whatever your vision is. It's not a question of right or wrong. It's just going to take you there. And if we consider it as magnifying glass to see where this hole, like rabbit hole, can take us, and if it's a good route, let's proceed, and if it's not, it's not. So actually consider this is very important. But the problem is, like, sometimes AI is totally immature, and people are taking it, is using it for tomorrow, and it's not even ready for the now. It doing simple stuff with perfection, but its maturity did not reach yet. This
No.
is what I believe. Yeah, from technical
No.
perspective, it is not yet mature, so you can rely on it 100%. And this is very important.
No.
Agency and personal judgment must be
Mm.
included. If you take it
Mm-hmm.
away, it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna create chaos. Actually,
Yeah, it puts a responsibility on humans, and
yes,
we're all very different. Some humans are better at that than others, and everyone's got a different view of what
abilities.
that responsibility is. But it does, if you think of it, and just go back to that car. Cars are very dangerous tools now. AI is much infinitely more sophisticated than a car, and AI is within cars a lot these days. So, but cars can be very dangerous, and cars can also be consumptive and use lots of petrol and be part of climate change.
Change.
All these things that we can use at the same time. And I don't actually have a car, but I use an Uber, and I can drive, and I would love to have a car one day again, and all that sort of thing. So it's complex in there. So AI is also complex. It's hard to live in this world without engaging with AI.
Yeah.
And yet, if we only just treat it like, oh, if we only get into our cars and we don't care whether we're looking at the window, it can be very, very dangerous. So that
Distraction.
means we have to take that responsibility. Yeah. And disrupting, definitely. But also can be really helpful. And so
It can
finding
take
that
you from point A
fine
to point
line.
B. It's just
Yes.
it can take you from point A, point B. But
Uh-huh.
most important, define point A and define point B. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going to be stuck in
Yeah.
a loop. It's like
Yeah.
vision
It's
is
a good way of
very
putting it.
important. It's like you need to not to give up everything. The full dependency is actually what we are not advocating for. It's like you have to
Yeah.
use it. It's underneath you. It's like you have to be on top and in control of it, and with in
Yeah.
total agency of the
Mm.
output of it. You
Mm.
mentioned actually you quote Peter Kamenetsky saying AI is a part of humanity rather than something out there. How does this
Mm.
perspective return responsibility to mere mortals rather than treating AI as an unstoppable force?
Yeah. um, it in some ways, and this is Pete Kaminsky's really beautiful quote that AI is part of us. It's part of humanity, and so Pete has a philosophy around it, which is which I would probably mangle a little bit, but
Yes, please.
how I understand that is that it's not something that's separate from us. Now, I know that's sounds very, probably very abstract, but AI, if we look at it very broadly, and I'm talking very, very broadly here, we think we can look, we've created it to start off with. And
Comes from
so
us.
it's already human in some ways because
It's
we have
man-made.
shaped it in that way. We're part of this world. It's part of this world. We actually mine it from, and have look at Rebecca Mbaya's work because she talks a lot about Africa and
The
DRC
colonization.
and looking at
Yes.
where those minerals come from and the human involvement at the early part of that. So AI comes from rare earth. It comes from our scientific knowledge. It comes from our ability. It comes from writers and artists. So it's all kind of mashed in together in some ways. So it is part of us. Now, why this is important is because if we don't see it as part of our humanity and we see it as something out there and
Yes.
other, then we
Exactly.
risk
Yeah.
not taking responsibility for it. And we also sort of can say, well, AI is good and AI is bad and it's out there, but it's actually part of us. And how it helps us with our agency, take responsibility for our relationship with it. And in the end, at the end of the day, if we do that, if we're able to do that more, then we're able to start shaping it in a way that's useful. And and I use another little,
Optimistically. Yeah.
yeah, that which is what I'm about, right? So I'm
Yes,
looking at how
exactly.
we
Yeah.
can
If
shape these
capitalism
things.
leave it alone, is the
Yeah,
problem with AI is it's steered by greed, and it's a company that they're using as a playbook is totally extractive. And that's
Yes.
nothing to do with AI. It is the people managing the AI, and it's a different topic. And it is true, actually, AI is trained on our past civilization, past history, past movement, past knowledge.
Yeah.
If you go to Claude and everyone is like, teach it a skill. The skill is actually your knowledge. Actually, you are
Yeah.
training to do something. You
Yeah.
have learned it along the way. So it's not that we give it for free. We actually do
Yeah.
it. But it's trained on us, all of us. And
Yeah.
it's universal landscape. It's not just on one topic. It's still biased. It's embedded all our fault and all our problem. The
Yeah.
problem is presented to us as this company product, but it is not. And this is what we need to understand and take it in consideration. No, it belongs to all of us. It's not, and this is why
Yes.
we will find new models, and anyone can now create it and make a distillation from this model and create this model, because it's not belong to one.
Yeah. It's
It's
a really, it's actually really, it's really, when you say that, it's really useful to think of it like that. It belongs to all of us. It
yeah,
actually does belong to all of us. But the way it's been shaped is often, that it has, it's on a lot of stolen information, and it's incomplete. So it's, the representations are very patchy because we don't have a, good, strong worldwide representation. And there are so many, yes, so many people and so many places and so many experiences and so many cultures that actually are poorly represented or not at all. And
they're not
if it
static
belongs,
informations. Yes, they're not static
yeah,
from books. No, there is a lot of
uh-huh,
people who entered, like Celeste Garcia mentions that it's going to be used by labor force, even though it's traumatic what
yeah,
they lived for. But they entered it. There is a human who did the data, to refine the data, say this is yes, this is no. It's we need to generalize or open up the models usage to say this is done by us for us, not
yeah,
yes, this company, they are going to benefit. Okay, we are going to give them the benefit of it,
yeah,
of running it and the compute and the
yes,
technicality, but the knowledge of it, it's not limited to one person, or we cannot credit to just this company, Anthropic or OpenAI. We have
yeah,
to
yeah,
our collective knowledge, because it's based from all of us, from our past ancestors,
mm,
from past knowledge,
yeah,
generation over
yeah,
generation gave it to this model
exactly,
to exist.
exactly. And we need to find ways to hold those companies accountable for that,
That
so that we can actually, and
that's a promise hard to fulfill.
it's
This is
well, it
the
is,
wish
it
was.
is the hard, it
It's
is a
very
hard
hard to fulfill.
promise. But
It's
and
yes,
everyone has it's a hard promise to fill, but it's not impossible,
it's
and
not
we've got
impossible,
time.
but
Yeah, yeah,
we need the will to understand what belongs to what, because there is no
yeah.
AI is not sovereign on its own. AI is going to
Mm,
be universal.
yes,
Anyone is entitled to use it. Anyone
mm,
is allowed to use it the way it fits him best. There is no best way to use it in this way, or like, I'm sure you have seen on Substack this panagram debate. It's like, I reject
mm,
a tool to cap people on
mm,
how to use AI. If it's you
yeah,
have problem with AI, stop. You should have enough judgment to open an article and screen it, and in 5 seconds again, I'm not interested. But
yeah,
don't make
yeah,
a tool to limit people or ostracize a certain kind
yeah,
of calibers, or even if they don't have time, or if they use it to generate even for visibility, they entitled to use it the way they feel like it. For
yeah,
freedom of
yeah,
expression, for whatever reason. Because Substack is going to be like any other platform. There is
mm,
people who are here for visibility, to show off. I exist. I have voice. Even if it's
yeah,
repeated or it's done, let them be. Because
yeah,
this is what
yeah,
the
yeah,
platform
yeah,
is.
yeah. It makes me wonder who benefits from that
Yes,
panagram,
it's like
like, and to trace that a little bit, because it's a control mechanism, but it's also, as you said before, it's part of that. We're in a capitalist society. It's part of that mechanism. Somebody's benefiting from it, and yeah, it's a
don't
question. It's very
reduce
questionable.
everything so we regress to one voice, one character
Mm,
or to follow.
mm,
Let it. There is beauty in differences. Like the more we are different, the more actually we find alternative to solution and problem.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
differences is like, and let's expand, not even limit
Yeah.
and narrow down.
Oh, Farida, absolutely music to my ears. Let's expand. We have, and variety. We have so much. The diversity of humanity is really, it's vital for our survival. But
Yes.
it's also rich. We have.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
It enrich you and it open up, it make you see different angles sometimes. Because when
Hmm.
you get
Hmm.
stuck, you can be totally blinded and really rigid in accepting certain things, and it hurts. But if
Yeah.
you have the ability to be agile and to move, or even simple tweak can make a difference. It's simple,
Yeah.
it's not just reframing something,
Yeah.
restructuring make a difference. So
Hmm. Hmm.
limitation is very bad. So you
Yes.
mentioned back to your chapter because it's very important. Is I get off the topic, but let's get back to your chapter.
Yeah.
You mentioned L for language, the
Hmm.
trap. You share a personal story about how to use ChatGPT in
Yes.
reviewing an essay. If you could elaborate on that and tell us why it is
Yes.
language can be a trap.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a humbling moment that I experienced, and it's probably not the only time, but it was one that I was really aware of, and it's um, where I sort of let go of the driver's wheel, the
Mhm.
steering wheel with AI, and it took over, and I let go of my sense of control over the writing that I'd done. And it was with the article um, and with Rebecca, Rebecca and I had a collaboration on Substack, which was really fun, and I was inspired by Rebecca's
Knowledge and
uh,
experience.
yeah, knowledge, and also her willingness to engage in others in conversation and through her work. So I was trying to move my work from being a monologue to being a dialogue, and so we had a collaboration, which was wonderful. She has so many smart insights to offer, and I put it together in one of my Substack essays and quoted her, and then I've probably put my brain into auto control and let uh, AI help guide the editing of that. And what happened is one day after I'd published it one night, and the next day I was catching the bus and I was reading back over it as often I do on Substack to have a look and see. And I was like, oh, her interview, her words are right down the bottom of this article. And there's no way I would have wanted to have buried what precious gems she had to share right down at the bottom. And I realized that what I'd done is let the AI guide me rather blindly to put in the piece that she'd written right down the bottom. Now that doesn't seem like probably a cardinal sin, I suppose, but it actually was not in line with my integrity about how I like to work with people. And I could see that what I'd done is basically given up my agency to the AI, and it had
Aside,
decided, well, this is where it's
final.
going. It's going down the bottom. And so what I had to do is eat a little bit of humble pie and go back, spend that afternoon and re-edit it, put the piece back where it needed to be, and then republish it. So it is a moment where it's a little bit of, I felt, sometimes you've got to take the egg on the face to actually have a learning lesson. And for me, the lesson there was in that alpha language is that it's for writing and expressing and exchanging ideas. You start thinking about the 175 years. If what's going to be important is that we have integrity in this exchange of ideas, and that you can trust that I'm really working to make sure that I'm getting as clear as I can and treating your work with the care it deserves, then we actually need to maintain our the muscle that we have to keep
Yeah.
our integrity in what we're trying to achieve as artists and writers and people who are trying to express ourselves. And that's really important. With AI, it's easy to take that back seat instead of to
Yes.
be driving. And with our work as people who are artists in this field, and looking at how we're shaping, contributing to the world and humanity, we can't let go of that and hand that completely over. Some spelling. I'm a terrible speller. And
Don't tell me about
and my typing is incredibly sloppy. I'm happy for AI to type to fix up my typing.
refine
Please
it.
do,
Yeah.
but not to abdicate my responsibility as an agency, as a writer and a thinker and an artist. Yeah.
It is true, but this is actually depends on individualistic, I guess, because it's like you want AI to represent you. Some people want represent AI. Because there is a marketing, like we're promoting it, and actually we are promoting something. So we are always in constant marketing ourselves, our skills, our ability.
Yeah.
They market how they use AI, so they represent AI. But for you, for me, for many, like I use AI a lot, especially not in my writing to refining, because English is still not my first language. So even when I think, it's like I will write, and sometimes I'm talking in verbal, and let's see how to structure this sentence properly. But we wanted not to change your voice. It has to represent you and to stick to that. And this type of integrity, it's individualistic. This is not an AI problem. It's person or attitude problem. It's like, what do you want people to perceive you? Integrity, responsible with this is what you offer. Are you true, or are you mirroring something else? And again, I don't judge or blame people. It's like we don't know each one's agendas or whatever intention, but let's always assume that he wants the best. Even if he's selling an offer representing AI, let it be accepted or not accepted, but do not reject. This is my approach. To encompass differences, and it's up to you. And we have not to give high dependency, because when we give dependency to anything, not just AI, it's going to create a kind of an atrophy, not in our cognitive ability alone, but is in our behavior, because our like parasympathetic is going to rely on it. We did it before. It's going to work now. It's going to work now. It's going to work now. But there will come one day it's going to make it fall apart because it didn't work.
Yes.
And this is actually the blind moment.
It's a hard lesson.
And actually, I believe we all reach this moment when we are busy and we push.
Yep.
And you say, oops, this is not, I meant this program. This, oops, it happens.
Yes.
And catching it up early, it shows who you are, actually. To give credit and to acknowledge the mistakes, there is error, because we human, we are born to err. So having an error is okay. It's okay. But fixing it is actually, it's on your shoulder. And, and this is something actually beauty. I see that sometimes AI make us face ourselves. Who are we really are. It's like, yes, are we what we advocate to do, or are we what we say? Do we listen it? Because it's not like a mirror, but it's a spot. It puts you on a magnifying glass. It's like you are now. There is nothing hidden. There is not everything in the eye. See it and use it wisely. It can really.
It reveals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually, what I'm hearing there is it's almost like you can't hide behind AI, because you will be you'll be revealed anyway.
It exposes your action and your behavior in a brilliant way, and in actually very blatantly. It's like everyone will see. And this will take us to our next question. Values are not neutral. Many view AI as a clinical or objective, but you argue it is heavily value-laden. From mineral mining to model design, how can user begin to identify the value they are entering into relationship with when they prompt a model?
That is it, because I think so much happens and seems to be invisible in AI. We can, and also too, because sometimes we think about it as being mathematical, and that sort of robot that I was talking about before, and something about that feels scientific and objective. And if we sort of follow that thread through, sometimes we can feel that there is like some kind of objective no values in here, that what we are engaging with is neutral. But so far from the truth. There are so many ways that these values are baked in. And even like we were talking about capitalist society and those, that is baked in some of those as well. So say you have you ask generative AI should I go out into the sunshine today? Right now, simple question like that. Now, if the values that are baked in will give you different sorts of answers. Now, if that model has been trained, say in the Australian sun, it's very hot. We've got a terrible skin cancer problem, and there's also, and I start engaging with a medical AI that's Australian based, and it says, well, you might want to go in the sun, but it's going to have a high UV, so you want to make sure you've got a hat and your sunscreen and all the rest of it. Okay, now that's a value judgment that's been baked into the AI.
That's
go the other way, and it might be on some beautiful beach in another part of the world, and says, should I go into the sun today? And says, yes, you should go and get your Coca-Cola and your Pepsi Max and go out there and hit the streets and, get the bikini and go and have a dance on the beach. And they are two different sets of values. Yeah. Yes. Now, so they're probably frivolous example. They are frivolous examples, but they are different value choices on those. Now, if you think about going in the sun, that's a very simple sort of thing. But if you start thinking about the other values, judgments that you might be needing to make about your life, do I apply for this job? Am I what other sorts of questions?
Yes.
All those values. My marriage is in trouble. What do I do? Oh, here, do this, do that. Or have you thought about this and that? All those values are in there. So if we start to recognize those values and start to ask questions about what's underneath, then we can say, where is this coming from? What is this telling me? Why is this telling me this? So then we start understanding how we can once again step into some agency and go, it's telling me this because of its where its speaking voice is coming from. I get to make some choices based on what I can understand.
It's actually true, because you need to understand, again, point A and point B. If you're asking this question, this model is capable because he was trained or given enough data to make a good judgment on this topic. Like, for example, calculating UV ray. This is a good question to use and a good use case to depend on it, because he is deterministic. He actually has enough data to make the calculation for you. At least he's going to give you metrics, and the decision is on you to make the preventative or precautions for it. But for certain things, like should I divorce my husband or should I not? This cannot be asked to AI, because no matter information he got from a divorce lawyer or from whatever happened, he doesn't understand the value of family to you. Kind of feelings or behavior, he cannot make a decision or give you a metric for it. So
that's right.
Yes, it depends again.
Yeah, people are doing that all the time, though. So and we need to build
create fiasco. It's going to create fiasco because we need to see the capability where is it fit best. It's not magician. The models, they are not magic. They just not like Moses wand is like open and it will get you out of it. It is not. So you need to put it in the best use case to benefit the beauty of AI. Otherwise, it's going. Define point A, define point B, and let it do the delivery or the connections.
But you get to do the defining, and you also get to think, is this work? Is this right? Is this what I want to be doing? Does this align with my values? And maybe I go to different models, go to different people, gather all the information you need. And that's a skill. That's a skill.
I think we all experience with, for example, with Spotify, if you give it to someone, it's like, he choose for you, it's going to give you one good song, and the rest of the song, what is this? It's like,
this
is not my taste. How did you make this persona out of me? It's like with the simple things, the protection to create a persona out of you and protect for you and choose for you. all the model went off road. Like, and Spotify is an example. It's like if you give it like play this one, he's gonna play a horrible playlist. It's not even your taste, but it's like he matched it based on the beat or in the rhythm or whatever. But it's not your taste. It makes the whole point.
Yeah. We live in
Yes,
that's the they're living in the algorithm, and so then there's questions for me around, well, how do you, like, that's like in a flow. You're in a flow of some sort. That's not your river. It's not your choice necessarily. You start at one point and you drift along. If you flow along, you just go down the algorithm river. You end up where Spotify takes you. You can swim. You can steer. You can get to the side of the bank.
we
You
can
can go and
both.
choose another river. We to some degree, we've got some choices that can help us move even just gently over into another spot so that we can go back to the music that we like, or go and explore something
Or to
new.
say no. So, yes.
Or say no.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this actually will lead us to the next point of your chapter is agency versus belonging. If you define the difference between both of them and how to define what is the limitation of agency, what is and pros or cons in belonging. Because sometimes they conflict with each other.
Yeah. So I got so much out of writing this chapter, actually, because it allowed me to explore some of those ideas in as much as I could in creative ways. When we think about and it's something, once again, that I've learned so much from the people that I interviewed last year. Rebecca said around that really strongly. She's like, I belong. I'm part of this story, and she was really clear and really strong about that. And it helped me understand that we need to see that we're part of this, and that we need to see ourselves there. The way that AI is developed doesn't necessarily represent us well. We need to be part of these stories, and it's part of the belonging. You can't, it's very hard to have agency if you don't feel that you belong and that you're part of it. And we have the ability, all of us have the ability to do that to some degree.
Belonging sometimes encompasses a little bit of possessiveness, and this can create a negative vibe or a negative energy with it, and can be destructive if it's been abused in a certain way. The belonging things, it can damage yourself in a way by holding it. While agency, it's positive 24/7. It's like it's the energy it brings. This is one of the difference to make it. Belonging is related to identity in a way. So I don't see AI as an identity for me. So I belong to its making and in participating in it. But if AI disappear tomorrow, that's okay. I am fine. Okay. It's like I can learn myself and I can produce something. This is agency. It's the agency to let go. So agency can be another layer on top of belonging to control it, to make sure belonging is in a positive steering, or it brings you value. So it is above it because it can be like it will encompass and control it to make sure you are taking this belonging thing in the right way. Because we need to learn to let go. If AI, for example, is no electricity, we cannot feel it. It's like you need to produce. You need to learn how to write it. You need, if your job, even if it's judgmental, you need to trust yourself that you can make it.
And there's something in there. It's between, and it's halfway between control and kind of collapse or submission, or just kind of losing yourself.
Yes, giving up.
There's a space in there of possibility, and agencies around connecting with that possibility. It is a positive way of thinking, and it's not I don't want to be Pollyanna about it. It's not like all of a sudden we've all got agency to be amazing. Yeah, and
We all learn. It's like
I
learn.
know the world is a difficult place, but there is a point there of being able to make a choice on a possibility, and those little choices that we're able to make actually build up to bigger changes as time goes on. And so there's something in there which is which we give it. Sometimes we give that agency up too early, and sometimes we don't understand that we actually have it. So that it's once again we step into that dance with that AI rather than trying to control it, and rather than sort of just submitting to it. We've actually got a role where we find which is a halfway where we actually have choice, or some kinds of choice, and we start looking for what those choices are.
It is true. And actually, AI is belonged to us more than we belong to AI, because it depends on our data we give it and the training and our knowledge. It gives us nothing yet, not even monetarily. It's like even no company is trying to monetize. They're trying to monetize it, but it doesn't make any profits yet from it. So it actually belongs to us, belong to our knowledge, to our shared civilization, to our ancestors, to whatever we are going to give. And it's vice versa. It's like we need to know where we are and where the technology is. Yes, to give it a context. You mentioned actually pulling back the blanket. You discuss how AI can surface underlying power structure like colonialism, such as biased image generation of Africa, why its representation, not just a side issue, but a core component of agency. Yes. So,
yeah. So it's pulling back the blanket, and sometimes I interchange it with pulling back the curtain, and is something that my supervisor at ANU, Paul Wong, explained to me. He uses it. He helps me keep accountable with this, because I used to think that I could go and find the knowledge, like I'll just go and get the right piece of information. And using AI, often we think we're going to get the right piece of information. And he says that when you pull the blanket back, you actually hide something else. So when you go and find that knowledge, you actually have hidden another piece of knowledge. Yeah. And it kind of there's a dualism, pluralism that both those things are there at the same time. And when we think about AI, and even thinking about colonialism is a good example of this. Is that if we ignore the fact that AI is, we can choose to ignore that AI is built on exploitation, right? So that there are, and there's a long and deep colonial narrative that's running through AI, and you were talking about capitalism, the way that
it's all embedded. It's a representation, because we live we believe in stories and narratives. So it can represent a narrative that is not non-inclusive.
It's not inclusive. It's not inclusive.
Yes.
So when we do that, we cover that truth.
Yes.
And so we just need, being each time we think that we've uncovered a truth, then there's actually another truth underneath that. Or the knowledge is underneath there. And the thing is, we actually know that when we pull the blanket, that one thing is revealed and another thing is hidden, but we don't. But we often choose not to know.
The awareness of it is like sometimes it's getting silence. It's like you are aware of it, but it's becoming blindsided.
Yeah.
So your point, actually, you are trying to say is like we have to understand the premise of whatever the information is giving or as output by AI. If we understand its premise, because it's going to be representational to certain narrative, depends on your prompt, or depends on the model training data, or depends on something.
Yes.
It's not neutral.
There's all that value baked in there. That's right. So being aware of that, you can start asking questions. Well, what else? Yes. What else would be true? What else is underneath this? And where else is that information coming from? And why am I even looking for this? What is my quest here? And what does it say about me and who I am? And
Yeah, and this you mentioned the country and the context, because every country will have. We already have different versions of history. It's like if you
Yeah.
see the historical version, the American version, or for example, the Mexican version
Oh,
of the invasion, is everyone is going to victimize the other one and play
yeah.
victim to bring sympathy and empathy toward me, despite is like I've done a lot of violation to justify it, so it can
Oh,
pass it on as a progress. So
yes.
the
Yeah.
narrative and the
And
context really matter. And when you mention country, it's the indigenous tradition. We need to give them accountable because they involved as well. They played a part.
mm-hmm,
Inclusion is very important. It's not just
mm-hmm.
from ethical perspective, from accountability, so we can understand the context, because the
Yes.
context matter, the way who enter it and which country is representing it.
Mm-hmm,
And it's
mm-hmm.
very important have this to be aware. It's like one of the
Yes.
things I enjoyed in your chapter. You mentioned the agency is to understand what you are doing, to be
Yes.
in total awareness, to be in equilibrium, alignment with yourself and the usage of AI,
Yes.
which is actually so
Yes.
beautiful. It's like you make it sounding in a kind of poetry or really,
I,
pinky, rosy way.
yeah. I wanted to be poetic. I wanted to use poetic language in that article, um, and and I'm glad that you picked that up because I'm not poetic. I'm not perfect. I'm not. It's not like I've
No
got the
one,
answers
no
to
one
everything
has.
at
Yes.
all. At all. But I wanted to be that my. I did use my agency. I was really intentional with that chapter to make it feel to make it very as human as I could to put in to think about dancing and to think about poetry and to use poetic language because we are humans and substack readers and the readers of AI everywhere um, are engaged in intelligent people who are trying to figure stuff out and I think that AI, if we're not using our agency, it can underestimate the ability of readers to engage in interesting and rich language. So I tried to make it interesting and rich and to use and to steer my way through that story and to take some risks and to experiment. So that writing that chapter for AI everywhere actually allowed me to experiment. In my day job, I don't get to experiment very much. I have to write in very narrow
We have to abide
ways.
by the rules and criteria,
Yeah, yeah,
requirements.
yeah.
Yes.
So it was really interesting for me to actually take the experiment and then go, well, if I'm writing about AI and our human engagement with AI, how can that be? How can that feel? How can that feel rich? And how can I make it feel like I used to really love my creative writing and go very loose with it before AI? And AI tightens it up all the time now. Like if I'm, and we're talking about that editing gaff earlier, and it tightens it up and makes it very neat. Well, how can I actually put some space back in there for poetry in a way without being and still make it make sense and still make it help it carry some
To
meaning.
resonate with many. But you actually were successfully doing it. When I was reading your chapter, there is softness in
Thank
it.
you.
It's not rosy and pinky, but you put it in a way that it can be soft. There is a human touch. Your soul and your spirit was there in the style of writing. It was
Thank
there,
you.
and actually, whoever is going to read your chapter and the book, he will enjoy it. It's a kind of it's like a different voice that is soft and gentle and optimistic
Thank
at
you.
the same time.
No, I
In
hope people
yes.
do. Yeah.
So if you mentioned the 2,200 audit, how to make like to be conscious or to trigger our curiosity to keep the planet framework or to keep the audit to remain human. What do you
Mm-hmm.
give as tips or like if you have an idea how to maintain this or how to make it alive?
Mm. Mm. How to remain human, how to make it alive while we're going through this
Yes,
very highly
navigating AI
technical
hype and marketing.
technological life. Um, I would um, I it's such a I'm going to give such a subjective answer, but I we have I run into people, I talk to people every day who have a lot of anxiety around AI, trying to learn AI. In the beginning, they were maybe hiding from AI, and it's like, oh, can I do enough courses? Can I be good at it? Will I lose my job? Is it going to, like, all of those sorts of things? And they all are legitimate worries. But I wonder if it is helpful for people to know what our world with AI in it needs, some of the things that we already have. We already have judgment. I have human judgment. I've been learning it since I was born. It might not be great all the time, but I've got it. We always have our ability to relate. We already know how to relate.
Yeah.
We have relationships with people every day, and we already know how to do that. AI is learning, and we can work with that.
We're all learning.
We already know how to connect. We already, humans, and we are loving beings. Now, it sounds very, I'm right across the road from a church. It sounds very kind of spiritual in some ways, but just at our essence, humans already have these capabilities to connect, to communicate, to care for people. And we have lots of monstrous abilities too. But we already have those. So with AI, we need to bring those qualities to the table and to the dance. We need to bring ourselves in, and we already have that skill. We just need to keep working on that muscle. So yeah, as humans, we've got it.
Unfortunately, AI created a lot of anxiety, not about job losses. It's like this trendy, and because have been in constant the social contract between employee and the workforce has been totally taking power from people, and it's done for the company the final word and decision, and this creates this kind of fear. But it's like I keep saying to everyone, is like, no matter how AI is going to do, remember and remind yourself, we survived dinosaurs, so we will survive AI.
That's right, we will.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
We survived worse than that. So it's like, it's danger and damage. We will reverse it back. So we have the calibers, we just need the will. It's now the marketing is breaking us apart in terms of camps. Like, yes, pessimists, go for it in full as optimists, or do not use it, pessimist. We need to make it's like, trust yourself. Humanity is bigger than AI. Humanity cannot be reduced to machine.
And you know what? Yeah, you're so right. And humanity's bigger than marketing.
Yes,
and humanity's bigger than our jobs. We are
breathe. It's like breathe.
And not saying that it's perfect. Not saying that it's perfect. And I know it's hard. And I've have like others, experienced hardship as well. I'm not saying it's easy, but humanity's bigger than our world right now, and our 2026 AI soaked world.
Yes,
we've got this. We do have got this as humans, but we need to be really aware when we're engaging with our technology of what we're playing with and what we're using.
And our role, and this is actually what agency can do. If we strengthen or we learn our kids and our kin to strengthen our agency, to believe in ourselves, we will survive it. But with agency, we'll survive it with less damage.
Yeah, ideally, that's where we'd love. That's where we'd love to get to. There's less damage, and it's possible. And the work that you're doing, the work that so many of the women and She Writes AI work is a lot about how do we explore this?
Yes.
How do we engage with this? And with the ultimate goal of less damage. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to recommend or promote any newsletters that you will ask people to start with, or to read them or follow? Do you want to promote any newsletter?
I would. I think going to the She Writes AI.
Yes, our community is one of the best on Substack. Yes, please follow
absolutely us. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant and very supportive and big and
we are
worldwide.
supportive. This is extremely true.
Absolutely. I have my own Substack called
Yes.
Jax with Gen 2200. It's been a little bit quiet there. We'll start engaging with it a little bit more at the moment. Well, I've been a little distracted, but it is. It's where I've been exploring these ideas, and I've been on a journey for this for the last 5 years. I didn't start with. I still don't have the answers, but it's been an adventure and a journey into trying to understand this world a little bit better. I really encourage people to follow the guests who I interviewed for that article, and because they have insights which help open up those
Open
worlds
up.
that we're
Yes.
talking about. So obviously Karen Smiley, Rebecca Mboya, Jerry Mikalski, Pete Kaminsky, and also Paul Wong, who is here in Australia, uh, have really great views on agency and how we can explore those things with our technology. And and Farida, your work. So
Oh, thank you so much. Do you have any particular article you posted that you would like? Do you want to feature, or you want your the
oh
audience to start with reading from it to understand? It's like or to explore more of your work.
yeah, yes, I do. If you I might give it to you after here, but having a look
Yes,
at, I've got a
you want to
Substack
post it here.
post that kind of grounds some of this, and as well, and also to the Planet
Brilliant.
podcasts.
Yeah.
There are a series of those podcasts. You can actually go in deep into those. So I'll
Okay.
share those with you
Yes,
after
if
here.
you could feature one or two to start with, so they can
Yeah,
get into the topic we are talking about.
great.
Jax is like, do you have any word? Because I think we covered your chapter. Do you have any message or any point that I missed it? You want to share it with everyone?
Um, I, I the main thing for me is, and it is one of those things that we can use our agency for, is that we have a lot of fear and anxiety. Very natural, very
Very
natural.
natural. Exactly.
I have that too. I Curiosity is a way through fear and anxiety. So our safe curiosity, but when it comes to AI, being safely curious, to find out more, to ask good questions, to explore what's underneath the bonnet, to um, to test and experiment,
Mm-hmm.
that will help everyone move through that fear and anxiety without being paralyzed. We don't want to be paralyzed. We want to be able to move through and make choices. So being curious and safely curious is really, really important. So if I can leave something with everyone here today, is that fear and anxiety are moved through better when we're curious
Yeah,
and caring.
it's
Yeah.
true. We should learn to lean on each other because there is
Mm-hmm.
like as the Bible's mentioned. I'm not going to get into religion, but it's like seek and you will find. It's
Yeah.
true. There is always a good
Yeah.
people, and there is always someone who's willing to help and reach out. Just ask. And
Ask.
yes,
Ask.
it's not only about AI. You can ask anyone. There is a huge
Mm-hmm.
community open up, and we are here for each other, and
Yeah.
we will
Yep.
survive it. It's like enjoy it,
Absolutely.
enjoy it, master
Ah.
it until you perfect it. Let's navigate this terrain together. It's still
Yep.
undefined. There is no right or
Mm-hmm.
wrong. But there is perspective and different voices, different alternative.
Yeah.
Read and reach out, and there will be someone
Yep.
willing to be there. It's like humanity is always
Absolutely.
bigger. Yes,
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely. Humanity's big, big. It's
yes,
and let's live our lives the best we can with the constraints that we've got, and
yes,
find ways to move through it. And and AI can help us with that. Um,
yes.
but we do it with our sense of the dance.
So yes, dancing and keep the harmony, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is listening. Um, I don't think it's like hi Karen. She is the one who mentioned hello Karen here. It's like I hope everyone is enjoying
Hi,
his
hey
weekend.
everyone.
So I think it's if we kind of wrap it with one word, it's like dance and have harmony using AI. I think this is it, and this is a wrapper of your chapter, I guess.
Awesome.
Emotion alive to better up your life in whatever you do. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jax. It's like for your time, and I know it's too early in Australia, and it's already Sunday. You are ahead of us.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for your time and your insights and your beautiful
Farida.
poetry serenity in your writing.
Thank you so much, and thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Share the article you want to feature and the podcast you mentioned for the planet.
Okay? Will do.
I'll share it with everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.